Man, I'm not used to the new lighting yet. It's like I'm making a horror video.
In the time before time, on the mysterious island of Matanui.
Yeah, no, I can't be dramatic to save my life. Hey everyone, how's it going? I hope you guys have had a good day so far. I know I have. Actually, I started collecting old Bionicles again, which is why that was on my mind. His name is Zaktan, look. His eyes glow.
Yo, Paraka!
Yeah, my girlfriend thinks I'm a child. Okay, so I was thinking about the fact that I actually have a lot of young subscribers, you know. Not like little babies, but, you know, some between the ages of like 13 to 16. And I realized, you know what? A lot of these people are going to start driving soon. So what better way to teach them some certain things that you only learn through experience while driving, and that driving school does a terrible job of teaching you. So I went around asking different family members, and from my own experience, I compiled this list of 14 things that the DMV does not teach you. Okay, let's do the YouTuber spiel. I need to start putting a timer on this. Ready? Patreon, Discord, Instagram, t-shirt store. Discord is down below. Did I already say that? Come on, there's one more thing. Twitter. That's the last thing. Okay. Ow. Ow. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing you need to realize is that roads are not flat like you'd think. And believe it or not, this is by design. Instead of being built flatly, roads are more of a dome shape. The reason behind this is because when it rains, you don't want massive puddles in the middle of the road where cars could hydroplane. As a result, the rain tends to fall off to the sides. Of course, this is not true for every road. I'm sure there are some terrible roads out there, but this is seems to be the default in a lot of places where I go. So when it's raining and if you're alone on the road, be sure to take advantage of this. The middle of the road is the safest place to drive as long as you're by yourself. If there's more people, then try to stay on the inside lane. There's a much smaller chance that you'll lose traction in hydroplane. All right, next one. Cops are much more likely to ticket you at the end of the month. Now, despite what you think about cops, there is one truth about them, and that's that most of them actually have quotas to fill. These quotas tend to be due at the end of every month. So if a cop is kind of low on that quota, they're going to be having an eagle eye for anyone going even like 1 to 2 miles per hour over the limit. Remember this when you're driving, as it's a very easy way to get a ticket if you're not paying attention, especially after the 15th. Now, I'm not condoning that you should speed, but I'm going to say if you're going to do it earlier in the month. Now, next one. Now, this should be common sense, but it's not, so that's why I put it on here. When you buy a faster car, make sure to touch it bit by bit. Don't just floor it immediately. Now, to us people that have driven for a while, this seems blatantly obvious, but I've met a few kids that when getting into my car, they just floored it and started burning rubber. I don't mean actual children, I mean like younger cousins, and that's besides the point. You're not used to the horsepower of that vehicle, so start by taking it quarter throttle, then half throttle, then 2/3, and then whatever else, until you're finally used to the car. As one creepy guy on Facebook told me, driving in a new car is like making love. You gotta start off slow, and then at the end you can really hammer it. That's really creepy what I just said right there. Number 4, never speed alone. Now I'm actually realizing that a lot of older people don't actually think like this. But basically, if there's a cop and there's multiple people speeding, they can only pull over one person, or they just realize it won't be worth the effort. Besides, if you speed by yourself, you are much more likely to get laser focused in on by a cop. This also has to do when you're driving away from the pack. I've been in many situations where there's a pack of slow cars behind me on the freeway, and there's a pack of faster cars in front of me on the freeway, and I'm in the middle. If you're in that situation and you're not sure if there's a cop around, definitely stay with the slower pack. You will stick out like a sore thumb if you suddenly floor it to catch up with those guys. I know it's probably frustrating, but the more you can blend in with the crowd, the better. Number 5, always look both ways before crossing the street. We've all seen videos like this before. And this one. And also this one. What is a common mistake in all of those videos? The person who got hit didn't look before pressing the gas pedal. Sure, they were in the right, they had the green light, but you gotta understand, as a new driver, people don't like to listen to the rules. They don't care that you have the light. They will just blast on through because it's more convenient to them. That's why when I drive, I always make sure to look left and then look right, even on a one-way, because let's face it, people are pretty dumb. Sure, you might get one annoying guy honking at you behind you, but screw that guy, you know, you're never gonna see him again. Besides, what's worth? You gotta deal with a little bit of an angry driver, or you gotta hope you can walk away from possibly dying. Decision's yours, but I would definitely recommend following this phrase that we've all been taught since we were like, what, 4 years old. Number 6, this one was shared to me by my father, and it's drive like everyone around you is an idiot. 'Cause they are. This is basically a rude way of saying that drivers are unpredictable. You only follow these rules of the road because you all agree to. When someone doesn't and you're not paying attention, that's what causes problems. So even after your driver's test, look in front of you, look around you, check your mirrors periodically. I know it gets old really fast, but this stuff can save you and your car in the future. I know many times where I've seen somebody coming up my rearview mirror and I barely steered out of the way and they just careened past me at like 90 miles an hour. If I had been focused on the road and just believed that everyone's gonna do everything the road requires them to do, I wouldn't have my Buick anymore. In a new car, go easy on it in the first 500 miles. Think about it this way. When you work out, typically you should be stretching beforehand. I know some of you don't. Get on it. The reason behind this is because you're not ready to handle the stress of that workout. But once you do, then the workout seems easy. It's exactly the same for cars. In the first 500 miles, you have to deal with engine braking, transmission braking, suspension braking, rear differential braking is a big thing. It's okay to floor it in an emergency, but just in your day-to-day driving, until you hit that 500 mile mark, don't just floor it constantly. That braking is crucial for the lifespan of your car. I know it may be a bore to wait until then, but it's necessary, especially if you want to keep that car around for a long, long time. This one comes from my father. Pay attention to the car in front of the car in front of you. This kind of goes in with the one earlier, like drive like everyone's an idiot. There's also a chance that the car in front of you's brake lights may not work, or they're one of those terrible drivers that waits to the very last second to brake. Having tunnel vision is the worst way to drive. You need to be looking all around you, but looking ahead of the driver in front of you is the best way to make sure that you have the proper reaction time. There's really not much more I can bring on this. Let's go on the next one. Next one, if you're mad, just scream.
Just do what I do when I have problems.
Throughout cars' history, road rage has become a very, very common thing. Now, the problem with road rage is, you know, people freak out so much that they just laser focus in on the person that ticked them off. But I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. It's your car. You can scream as loud as you want. Just let it out, just scream, yell every curse word in the book, anything. Just get that stress out so you don't do something you're gonna regret. People may look at you like a weirdo, but you'll be a weirdo that has a working car and a weirdo that's not in prison. I understand other drivers can be frustrating, but screaming out is, well, personally, that's the way I handle it. I'll just be driving and I'll just be like... This one isn't really a very major tip. Obviously, this doesn't work for everyone. But, you know, screaming's great. It works for me, so I'm sharing it with y'all. All right, number 10, this one should be, believe it or not. Now, believe it or not, this one should be common sense, but, you know, as I said before, everyone's an idiot on the road. Don't screw with big cars. I don't care if you're trying to commit insurance fraud or road rage at someone. If you mess with a car bigger than you, you will die. This especially goes for semi-trucks. I've seen so many videos of people trying to brake check semi-trucks, and they lose every time because it's never just a little fender bender or a little ding. A semi-truck will punch through you like a truck running over a tin can. Do not mess with something that's like 10 times as heavy as the vehicle you're in. I'm actually getting mad talking about it right now because I've seen so many videos of idiots almost dying because they got mad at a semi-truck. I understand they're very frustrating to drive with sometimes, especially with those drivers that know they're the biggest one on the road. But don't mess with them. It's never, ever worth it. Not that it's worth it to mess with smaller cars, but you get my point. Messing with a Mini Cooper is very different than messing with a semi-truck, is what I'm saying. All right, this one goes more to the people that street race. All right, just because you're a great driver doesn't mean everyone else is. Most of the time when I see people defending street racing, they always use the same excuse. I'm a good driver. Yeah, no, these 16, 17-year-old kids are acting like they're Nicky Lauda or something like that. It's ridiculous. Because A, no, you're probably not. And B, you don't know how someone's gonna react. This is Kathy. Kathy is sitting in her 2001 van. I don't know. I don't study 2001 cars. Kathy is in her van. She has a little kid in the backseat. Kathy is also a very nervous driver. So when a Honda Civic buzzing around at 6,000 RPM whizzes by her, she freaks out, touches the wheel, and goes spinning off the freeway. She and her kid die. Now, tell me, if you were a police officer, what would that look like to you? Would that look like Kathy just freaked out for no reason? Or some idiot street racer buzzed by her, caused her to overcorrect, and cause the death of 2 people. Yeah, exactly. I'm a good driver isn't going to hold up in court. As a young guy, I understand the thrill of street racing, and I understand that nothing really compares to slamming the pedal down. But don't do it on a busy freeway. Always take it to the outskirts of town, where if someone does get hurt, it's you or the other person you're driving with. We understand the risks. We understand that we're doing a very dangerous thing, but there's no reason to put other people in danger. I'm serious about this one. Please keep this one in mind. Number 12, don't slam the brakes, just steer out of the way. Now, driving school is really good at telling us to gently brake, but what if you don't have time to gently brake? Instead, A, make sure you have a good wrap on your surroundings, and B, steer out of the way. Now, obviously, don't steer out of the way if 2 people are right next to you. That's going to cause the situation to become even worse. But if you have an opening, just brake gently while steering. Don't just try to stop in one place. You got to try to get out of the way. My dad actively drilled me on this a couple times. You know, it's actually a very easy skill to learn and a very good skill to have. All right, moving on from the dark stuff. 13, carry a solo jumper kit. Now, I listed this on my Christmas video. Most people, if you're a responsible adult, carry jumper cables in their car. But if you're out on the road in the middle of nowhere and nobody can get to you, you're kind of boned. Luckily for you, they sell solo jumper kits, which basically you plug into a wall overnight, they charge up, and you keep them in your glove box. Then when you break down, you put it on your battery, turn it on, and then start your car, and it'll give you a couple jumps. This one isn't more of a driving skill, this is much more of a just advice that's really helpful to have. They're expensive the one time you pay for them, but it's cheaper than having to constantly call a tow truck. What's wrong with me? And 14, this one's probably my favorite one because it saved my butt. If somebody backs into you or vice versa, or you hit someone else and you're not at fault, there's a good chance the other person's going to be telling their insurance that it's not their fault either. Now, while you can take a picture of the damage, it's not the best evidence if you're just focused in on that one spot. Luckily, modern cameras are starting to come out with more and more lenses. This is a Samsung 20? Yeah. This is about 6 months ago when this guy backed into me like an idiot. Now I was completely out of my space. He barely even moved, and he just moved without watching. Now this idiot had the gall to call his insurance about it when I tried to give him the bill for fixing it. And boy, oh boy, was I glad I took my pictures with a wide-angle lens. By the way, wide-angle lenses are pretty easy to spot. So basically, this is your basic photo. You pinch out to 0.5 and you have a wide angle lens. This allows you to get a whole lot more of the room in the shot compared to this. Because of these pictures, I was able to show that he was still in his parking spot. I had the weather, I had the time of day. I overwhelmed him with evidence so bad that with just photos, he had to pay for the damage on my bumper. And just like that, his insurance rates shot up while mine stayed exactly the same. That's why you don't mess with Sepulveda. So yeah, those are 14 tips for the road that you should know, but the DMV will not teach you. Driving is one of the most dangerous things you can do, but as long as you're smart about it, you'll be just fine. As I said before, there's a Patreon, t-shirt store, Discord, all that jazz down below. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it if you could. Subscribing helps me out a lot, honestly. So that about wraps things up. I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.